Hey, what's up guys? Bitcoin is dropping, stock market is dropping, and economy is already in the recession. In this video, I will explain if this is a good time to invest in Bitcoin or not. Then, billionaire Chamath Palihapitiya will give his own outlook on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space. This video is brought to you by iTrustCapital.com. Do you live in the United States? Are you tired of paying taxes on cryptocurrency trades? If so, iTrustCapital is the right platform for you. iTrustCapital is the leading digital assets IRA trading platform that allows clients to self-trade crypto and physical gold directly in real time through their retirement accounts. They are the first and only low-cost, turnkey, easy-to-use, 24/7 tax-free crypto IRA platform. iTrustCapital is the most trusted platform in the industry with 4.9 stars on Trustpilot. You have 3 ways to start an account. First, roll over 401k from a previous employer. Second, transfer any existing IRA from another financial institutions. Third, start a new IRA. To sign up is quickly and easy. Use the link in my bio, enter the promo code Aimstone to receive 1 month free. I think we could anticipate a market sell-off considering the fact that what is currently going on in the United States and the world economy. Economic productivity continues to decline as a number of new cases continues to increase. If you look at the stock market, it has been bleeding for the past week. And if we zoom out a bit, it looks like the stock market loses its positive momentum and could be on the verge of a reversal. Bitcoin has been correlated closely to S&P 500 since the massive sell-off when all this illness officially spread to the United States back in March. If you look at this chart, we can clearly see the correlation between Bitcoin and S&P 500. But Bitcoin is definitely outperforming the stock market year to date. If the sell-off in the equity market continues and people will continue to run into US dollar, most likely we will see price drop in Bitcoin as well. How low will Bitcoin go? Honestly guys, I do not know. It can go to $7,000, $5,000 or even $3,000. It all depends. Back in March, S&P 500 dropped by 35% while Bitcoin dropped by more than 50%. So if we see stock market dropping by 50%, then Bitcoin can drop by 60 or even more percentage points. However, if you look at the brighter side, Bitcoin is more resilient. It bounced back relatively quickly, and it's already in positive double digits year to date, while S&P 500 is still in negative. But now, the question rises, should you invest in Bitcoin right now, or you should wait when Bitcoin will drop? Well, the truth is, I do not know if or when Bitcoin will crash. Theoretically speaking, it looks like Bitcoin follows the stock market to a certain degree. If the stock market will crash, Bitcoin might follow. But if you look at the different side of the puzzle, Fed has the power to print unlimited amount of dollars, and as number of times the chair of Federal Reserve Jay Powell said, they will do whatever it takes to keep economy going, which means they will continue printing money. If they continue printing money, then the stock market might continue going up. Therefore, Bitcoin might follow as well. So going back to the question if you should buy Bitcoin right now, I would say if you do not have any Bitcoin yet, then yes, you should definitely buy it and get exposed to volatility. But if you already have decent amount of Bitcoin, I would probably say this is not the best time to invest in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is more volatile than the stock market, and in the future there will be a better buying opportunity. This is what I do, and it has been working for me pretty well. Mr. Market is not there to instruct you. Mr. Market is there to serve you. If Mr. Market knocks at my door and offers me Bitcoin for $20,000, I will politely decline his offer. But if he knocks at my door again and offers a Bitcoin for $3,000, I would gladly accept the offer. I like buying Bitcoin and other assets for that matter when it feels very uncomfortable, when there is a blood on the streets and when people running away from the certain asset. Back in 2019, I bought Bitcoin in mid $3,000, and also very recently, I bought Bitcoin at around $5,000, when it dropped by more than 50% in just a matter of few days. I was very uncomfortable buying it when most of other people was selling it, but I do understand that you have to go against the crowd if you want to be contrarian. Also, going against the crowd is not enough. Actually, going against the crowd just for sake of being different is pretty stupid strategy. You have to know why you're going against the crowd, and you have to know why you are right and they are wrong. If you do not know why, then it's just better to follow the crowd. Chamath Palihapitiya just had a recent interview with On-Chain Podcast, and here he explains how Bitcoin can save you when everything will collapse. Let's take a look.
Again, you can see it today in what the Fed and the Treasury are doing. We've massively increased the deficit and the debt. The United States government is now responsible for more than 50% of the GDP, which essentially makes us a quasi-communist country, socialist country at a minimum, except without any of the benefits. So you still have sky-high healthcare and exorbitantly high useless education. So it's kind of like the worst form of socialism, dummy socialism. And so when those kinds of things are happening and they're not getting fixed and they're only getting exacerbated, I just think that if people have been hardworking with their head down, they should have an opportunity to make sure that they don't get wiped out if the government itself just continues to make a string of bad decisions that then have rising consequences. And Bitcoin, to me, is the only thing that I've seen so far that is really fundamentally uncorrelated to that decision-making process and to that decision-making body. Because at the end of the day, any other asset class, equities, debt, real estate, commodities, they're all tightly coupled to a legislative framework and an interconnectedness in the financial markets that brings together many of the governments that are sort of behaving this way. And so it's almost like a bet against the ruling class in some ways, and making sure that you have a small amount of insurance, because insurance is not something that pays off 50 cents to the dollar. Insurance is something that pays off, $1,000 to $1. You want these massive asymmetric payoffs because you want to be sure that a small amount of insurance can basically make you whole. And that's why I just think that, you should take 1% of your portfolio, put it in Bitcoin, never look at it. Don't look at the price, don't look at anything, and hope that 1% goes to zero. Then you have 99%. But in the case where that 99% goes to zero, that 1% will probably be worth 120% and you'll feel like a genius.
I agree that United States turned into socialistic society since it's responsible for the majority of fake economic recovery by buying out corporate debt and essentially becoming a shareholder of corporate America. Interestingly, what Chamath said that Bitcoin is an uncorrelated asset to the current financial system. But it's kinda contradicts what I said earlier, does it? Well, not really. I think Bitcoin is correlated in the short term to the market, but over a long run, that correlation disappears. Bitcoin outperformed by far the stock market for the past decade. It is the best performing asset since it was created. According to Chamath, Bitcoin is an insurance that can pay off 1,000 to 1 if the financial system collapses. I think if dollar collapses, but you may probably ask, how is a Bitcoin going to be $1 million if dollar collapses? Well, in that case, Bitcoin will exist and dollar won't. We will not measure Bitcoin in dollar denomination. Most likely, we will measure Bitcoin in gold or Bitcoin in other valuable asset. If that happens, you can probably buy the entire house for 1 Bitcoin. Let's take a look at this video where Chamath explains why there is a one winner takes all in the cryptocurrency space.
Well, I was also curious, so do you see merit in any of the other crypto assets, in particular Ethereum?
No.
And why not?
It's kind of like when you have a bellwether instrument, the gains typically go to the winner. So I'll use an equity example. to make the case. When Obamacare passed, there was going to be a clear tailwind to health insurance. And, you could have bought a basket of health insurers, or you could have just bought United Healthcare. And the basket would have performed okay. United Healthcare 10x'd in the last 10 years. If you believed in smartphones, you could have bought a basket of things in 2010 or 2008 or 9 when the iPhone first got released. You could have bought, Nokia and Motorola and Samsung and HTC, or you could have just bought Apple. And Apple, frankly, just crushed everybody else. The point is that in any market, when there's a clear winner, it's not that these other things can't win, but there's a weird psychological effect that almost drives these second and third tier winners, which is a desire by people almost out of this sense of insecurity to not want to admit that there's a winner simply because they weren't the one to pick it first. And so what they do is they create these convoluted narratives and theses to basically anoint other winners. And yeah, can they win? Sure. But do they ever win like the category killer? No. I mean, do you really want to be long Lycos and DuckDuckGo, or did you just want to be long Google? There has been not a single market where you've been rewarded as handsomely for being long the number 2, 3, and 4 player as you are for being long the number 1 player. And again, it goes back to when things tip and go mass market, the average buyer makes the simple decision. And the simple decision is to go to the category defining winner and then set it and forget it. And so if you really want to make the money, my view has always been you find the one that's about to win: Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon, and you buy it. But what you don't do is try to do some convoluted spread trade or, long the number 2, 3, 4, 5 person, hope that it's just really, honestly, you can make a little bit of money, but there's so much brain damage and pressure and complication. It's just never worth it.
So you essentially view all the crypto assets as kind of like one category. Like you don't break them out into separate categories, because a lot of people would say like Bitcoin is a currency and Ethereum is, this platform just for decentralized applications, and they don't view them necessarily as competitive. I mean, there are of course people who do view them as competitive, but a lot of people just see them as fundamentally different things. But
I'll give you a different example. You could look at Mercado Libre as an incredibly complicated, and valuable delivery platform for Central and South America. And you could look at Wayfair as an unbelievable example of, furniture bought, purchased, and designed over the internet. I look at it and I'm like Spanish Amazon and furniture Amazon. And so I'm like, okay, I'll just buy Amazon. I honestly, Laura, this goes back to a philosophy of mine, which is what I've learned over time is that, I've really made my life much harder than it's needed to be. And I've overcomplicated a lot of decision-making in my life. And as I've gotten older, what I realize is that the best decisions are the ones that are really instinctive and the most simple. And you can use enormous amounts of data, and you can find all kinds of clever ways of slicing and dissecting things. But at the end of the day, the simple decision tends to be the best and the most defensible and the most enduring decision. And one of the simplest decisions that you can make is to buy the category winner and wish that the whole category does well. Because if it does, as long as the category winner stays on top of the category, they will get the disproportionate amount of the gains. And that's just been completely true in markets, since time immemorial.
Chamath doesn't see other competition to Bitcoin in cryptocurrency space. It is clear that Bitcoin is a winner in the cryptocurrency space. However, I think Chamath gives biased example in the equity market. Right now, it is clear that Amazon is a leading platform in e-commerce. It is clear that Facebook is a leading platform in social media. But on the flip side, you could have said the same thing about MySpace 15 years ago. Back then, MySpace was a leader in social media, but where is MySpace now? You could also have said the same thing about Nokia. Nokia was the clear leader 20 years ago in the cell phone industry. And where is the Nokia now? In a capitalism, in free market, there is no such a thing as a winner forever. In capitalism, every winner gets disrupted by a better product and competition all the time, no matter how wonderful the business is. In the cryptocurrency space, Bitcoin is a clear winner without a doubt. But will it be a clear winner 20 years from now? I do not know answer to that question. It may be and it may not. Let me know what do you guys think about winner takes all in cryptocurrency space. Is Chamath right? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, hit that like button and subscribe.